Nebraska just wrapped up Big Ten Media Days yesterday, and we learned some huge nuggets about the team this year, breakout players, Matt Rhule's confidence about multiple positional groups, some things that he's worried about, and so much more. So in today's video, I'm going to reveal what these inside scoops are going into this season, the expectation for 2025 before fall practice, and everything else you need to know. So really quick, this is a loaded Nuggets episode. Hit that like button if you're fired up, because I know I am. And also, if you're a diehard Nebraska fan and you're not subscribed, what are you waiting for? The season is almost here. And listen, this is the only place on Nebraska YouTube where you can get daily content talking your favorite team, talking Huskers. It's a no-brainer. Take 2 seconds. Join the family. Hit that subscribe button. Thank you so much. But without further ado, we have a lot to talk about. Matt Rhule was recently in Las Vegas at Big Ten Media Days, and revealed a bunch of big-time inside scoops about the Huskers going into 2025. But it wasn't only him. Dylan Raiola had a lot to say alongside Henry Tufsky, Marquez Buford, and Deshaun Singleton. So let's just get things started with Matt Rhule, the first big nugget that he shared, detailing some of the positional battles going into the fall, some groups that he feels very good about. And I want to get things going with the trenches, because I was talking about it yesterday on my live stream. The majority of Nebraska fans are very concerned not only about the offensive line, but the defensive line going into this year. We know that's how you win football games in the Big Ten, but Matt Rhule, he had a lot to say. He said that he feels great about the offensive line. He said, and I quote, he thought it was the best in all of spring practice out of all the positional groups, even better than the receivers, better than the secondary, better than linebackers. He feels like the offensive line play is going to be absolutely phenomenal. And he also said this: you grow your offensive line through high school recruiting. You grow your own offensive line, not through the transfer portal. So that correlates kind of what we were talking about yesterday, where in order for Nebraska to have a good program, yes, it's awesome to get guys in the portal, but that's not what Matt Rhule's doing. He's supplementing through the portal. He's getting his needs through that. But how you build a successful program with longevity is through high school recruiting, getting these top-tier offensive and defensive linemen every single year who are 18 years old. So he feels great about the offensive line. He feels like it's going to be very physical, that it's the best it's been by far since he was here. But he also had some good things to say about the defensive line. He said that when he's out in public, the number one question he gets from fans is, how good is the defensive line going to be this year? Because we know we're losing Ty Robinson, Nash Huntmaker, Jamari Butler, James Williams. And he said, and I quote, something that'll probably make you drink the Kool-Aid: the defensive line will be hell on wheels. Just watch. Just watch. That is what he said. And I quote, to Damon Betting in an interview, he said that when he's up in bed at night, sleeping, thinking about this team, he's not worried about the defensive line. He might be worried about some other positional groups, but it's not the defensive line. He thinks it's going to shock a lot of people. And yes, Ty Robinson, he's going to be hard to replace. But every single other guy we lost, whether it's a Nash, whether it's a Jamari, we can replace those guys pretty easily, right? Keona Davis is going to take a huge jump forward this year. Riley Van Poppel is going to be good. You know, Cameron Lenhart is somebody the coaching staff, they believe a lot in. And they got some of these younger guys like a Jalen George transferring in, a Williams Uneri. You got Elijah Judy, who's a veteran. So the D-line is going to be great. Matt Rhule has a lot of confidence that both units are going to shock a lot of people, and they are not a point of concern going into fall camp. You know, he also had a couple other interesting things to say about some positional groups. Said that the corners are going to be very physical this year. All of them can line up and play man coverage, whether it's Sierre, Andrew Marshall, Amari Sanders, Bly Hill. He named all 4 of those guys by name. All those can line up and play physical man coverage. He mentioned Buda Wright by name. He said Javen Wright, he's like a cheat code in that linebacker core. He can match up and play against the best tight ends in the league and beat them out pretty much every single time. So he's feeling great about this defense. He didn't talk as much about the offense. He really didn't talk about the running back core much. So if you're thinking about, okay, what is the positional group that's probably keeping him up all night? Probably is the running back core, because he didn't really talk about it. But he's feeling good about the trenches, which is something that we'll get back to as this video progresses when we talk about some individual player nuggets, because he disclosed a lot. All right, thought it was interesting. He talked a little bit about close games. He got that question a lot, as you would expect. You know, going into this year, how can we change the narrative? How can we win these close games in the Big Ten? And he said something that I thought was really interesting. And honestly, I disagree with it a little bit. He said we lost a lot of these close games in 2023 and 2024 because simply we weren't good enough from a talent standpoint. He said our focus is improving as a team, and then the close wins will come. Now, I'm going to be honest with you, I don't necessarily agree with that, because we lost a lot of close games, whether it was last year or the year before, simply because of our game planning and because we weren't coached at a high level, you know, from a play calling standpoint or from an execution standpoint. You know, we were more talented than UCLA last year. We were more talented than Michigan State in Matt Rhule's first year, or Wisconsin or Minnesota, all in which we lost those close games in year one. We should have won all of those. we didn't lose those because we weren't talented, just simply because, when it mattered the most, when we were in clutch situations, we didn't have the best play call, or we didn't have the winning culture. So, our heads would be low. So I don't necessarily agree that talent isn't good enough. Yes, the talent is improved this year. But I think it also has something to do with the coaching staff as well. But there is something that Matt Rule said that's a caveat. He feels a lot better about winning close games this year, especially against some of these better teams. He feels like he's going to be in a close game versus Michigan, Penn State, even the USC. And he said the reason why I'm a lot more confident in these close games is because of four things. Number one, the talent's a lot better, which we just talked about. The coaching staff has been improved in pretty much every single aspect. The situational football, we've been emphasizing that in practice, not only in spring ball, but going into fall ball. And then last but not least, he said that this year with Dana Holgorsen at helm, at offensive coordinator, John Butler, he can finally sit back and just address the whole team, not these minor details, these things that really aren't too important. He can sit back, evaluate the game as it goes on, and focus on the big picture things that really are going to matter and from an adjustment standpoint when we get at halftime, and keep the morale of the team up. So that's really going to help him win these close games. So I thought that was a really interesting nugget. I want to hear your guys' thoughts about that. Let's get back to the player nuggets, because he revealed a lot of info about this team, some specific guys, some positional battles. So I want to get started with the offensive line. He said something that was interesting at right tackle. We know what the rest of the offensive line's looking like. It's Pritchett, Lateef, Justin Evans, Rocco Spindler, in that order from left to right. But at right tackle, it is a battle. It's pretty much down to Tyler Knack, Teddy Brask, and Gunnar Gutula. And he said, as of right now, if we had a game today, Tyler Knack would be our right tackle starter. That was really shocking to many. The reason why I think he said that is simply because Tyler Knack, he was really the only one who's 100% healthy in spring ball. We didn't see Teddy play in spring ball. Gunnar Gutula was banged up a little bit. So Teddy is going to be back. He's 100% healthy. I do think it will be Teddy by the time we actually get to Cincinnati, but as of right now, Tyler is the starter there. So once again, that will be a battle. He said everybody's healthy at tight end, which is huge. Cardinals 100% ready to go, along with Markway. He said that Isaiah Mozee moving to running back, the reason why they made that switch, honestly, isn't because they feel like Isaiah Mozee's future is at running back. They think he can be successful there. But the reason why they wanted to move him to running back is because they feel like he can get on the field more. And that tells you kind of everything you need to know about the running back room. And I always say this, actions speak a lot louder than words. Where the coaching staff, they hyped up Quinn Ives all offseason. They hyped up Mekhi Nelson. That's awesome. But it's coach talk. A lot of it's coach talk. There's not too much meaning behind those words. It's kind of just hyping up their guys. Actions speak a lot louder. And if he said on record yesterday that the reason why they moved to Isaiah Mozee to running back is because I think he can play a lot more, that the running back room is wide open, kind of tells you he doesn't trust the depth behind EJ, which is something we already knew. So Isaiah Mozee could very well be a running back too this year, but I will say this, it's still going to be a Wandale type role. He's not going to get 10 carries a game, right? He's not going to be a goal line type of running back. It's going to be something that you see maybe 3 carries a game. He's going to line up at wide receiver 2 and the slot, but it should be noted he's up to about 210 pounds, so he's getting big as well. Then, he said, talking about the running back room specifically, that, it's going to come down to who's the most healthy, right? Like, that's going to be a running back too, who's healthy and who's at a good weight. That's the guy's going to be the running back too. And they're thinking that Quinn Ives hopefully can take that jump forward and stay healthy because he got banged up in spring ball. He named a couple wide receivers by name. He said something that was interesting to me. He said, do not sleep on Quinn Clark, Keelan Smith, and Cortez Mills in the receiver room. So again, just kind of goes back to how deep this receiver room is. Quinn Clark, somebody who's a 6'5" receiver, very athletic. Keelan Smith, very tall as well. And the Cortez Mills, we already know what he is. So again, the fact that he mentioned all three of those guys by name unprompted, when a coach does that, it means that they're doing some good stuff in practice. I know Keelan Smith, for example, he had a great spring ball. He also said that Dane is rooming in with Dylan Raiola for training camp. Those two are going to be bunk mates for 3 weeks. So that's huge. Again, to build our relationship with Dane, it's important that the quarterback has a great relationship with his wide receiver one. So again, when Dylan's rolling out on a third down, needs to know where Dane is, he's going to find him, right? That relationship, all those small things you do off the field, it matters on the field. So Dane, Dylan are building that relationship. And they also talked about Marcus Davila a little bit. He said that Marcos is going to be in this quarterback 2 battle. Right now, it's Jalyn Gramstad. That Marcos right now, the arm talent's great. It's as good as anybody else on the team, but simply he needs to learn Big Ten defenses. He's still very raw. He needs to build his football IQ, but he's hoping that he can take a big jump when we actually get to fall ball in 1 week. So those are all the player nuggets. They also updated a lot of the weights on the website. A lot of our guys put on a lot of weight. So I'll just roll over them real quick. We'll go quick fire. Amari Sanders up from 175 to 190. He's huge. Haarberg is up to 230. Honestly, a little bit less than I thought he was going to be. That's not great news to the Haarberg people who want him to start at tight end. I would hope he was at about 240. Jamarion Parker's up to 200 pounds. That's huge. He needed to be at least 200 pounds in order to play this year. Conor Nelson up to 240. That's huge. Markway actually lost weight. He's down from 260 to 250. David Hoofkin, 255 he's moving to 285. That dude is a freak, man. Hopefully he can play this year. Keona Davis, 255 to 275, put on 20 pounds. Malcolm Simpson put on 30 pounds from 265 to 295. He's going to be huge as a true freshman. Jalen George put on 25 pounds up to 287. Elijah Pritchett is at 325, which is ridiculous. Dawson Merritt put on 15 pounds from 210 to 225. And then Emmett Johnson just looks jacked. If you see Emmett Johnson pictures, man, he's probably about 220 right now. He looks huge. So those are all the player nuggets that we learned yesterday. And then going on to a couple other things that we learned. Dylan Raiola had some interesting things to say. I just want to share them with you. He said that this year, the main thing that he's focusing on is to improve himself as a runner, to get outside the pocket, make some plays with his legs, but also get outside the pocket and use his arm a little bit. So when you're going from the left to the right, you keep your eyes downfield and find somebody alongside the sideline, right? So Dylan's going to continue to develop himself as a runner. He's lost some weight. Now, is he completely slimmed down? Maybe not. Like, he's still got a little bit of weight on him, which is good, but he wants to develop himself as a runner and be more mobile. He said that the offense this year, simply put, it's going to be explosive. It's going to be very, very explosive. He's excited to see what it can be. He said that this year he's focusing on being more of a clutch player, that when the game gets tight, he's going to make a play when it matters the most. He understands that last year wasn't good enough, that he was not a finished product. He's been working tirelessly this season to get better, this offseason to get better. And also, I thought the last thing that was really inspiring, honestly, he said this offseason, he's been focusing on getting better about using his voice and digging into teammates when they're not doing their job. So last year, he was more of a guy just led by example, right? We really want to speak up. He had some close friends on the team, whether it's Jacory, Barney, a Haarberg here and there, but he wasn't somebody who was hanging out with everybody on the team. And that's hard as a true freshman, right? Because you're only 18 years old. But this year, he's been more adamant about being a vocal leader. When somebody's not doing their job, you got to dig into them a little bit, because that's how you have a great culture on and off. And he also said that, he's trying to break these cliques. Like, he's going to hang out with everybody on the team. He's trying to be friends with everybody on the team, because as a quarterback, that's what you need to do. You can't just, hang out with 3 guys every day. You got to be friends with all the receivers, all the offensive linemen, all the running backs, and some players on defense as well, because that's how you're really going to be a leader, and that's how you're going to be successful on game day when people are bought in around this team. So got some interesting things around Dylan Raiola. The other guys in attendance, Henry Tufsky to Sean Singleton, they don't have too much interesting to say, but I thought Dylan Raiola gave us some good perspective. Last but not least, Matt Rhule was asked, as usual, this kind of always happens. He says he's a politician. We know how it is. But he was asked what his confidence was for this year and the expectation, like what the coaching staff's expecting. And I told you guys all offseason long that behind closed doors, they don't want to reveal this. They don't want to tell you guys this, but they are all expecting a College 12 playoff berth. Okay. So, of course, when the Big Ten show asked Matt Rhule, they said, hey, what's the expectation this year? What are you guys expecting to go? He said, I can't reveal that. Because he knows that if he were to go out there and say College 12 playoff, that'd put a lot of pressure on him. That'd probably go viral. We'd be on ESPN this morning. All the people would be roasting us. Nebraska making the College 12 playoff. But that is the expectation inside the building. Okay, don't believe me? Just ask Dylan Raiola. Because Dylan Raiola was asked the exact same question. Apparently, he didn't get the memo. Because Matt Rhule said, I can't reveal that. But Dylan Raiola was asked by a beat reporter. He said, what's the expectation this year? And Dylan, very confident, he said, the expectation inside our building to expect the College 12 playoffs. Sky's the limit. So that just kind of tells you everything you need to know. Okay, the coaching staff, they genuinely believe they're going to win 10, 11 games to make the College 12 playoff. And they don't want to say that. They're not going to say that in interviews. They're not going to say that at Big Ten Media Days, because they don't want to go viral and they want to put a lot of pressure on themselves. That's good. They want to be humble. And it's great for you maybe to not believe that, because I know we've been hurt a lot in the past, Nebraska fans, but just know inside that building, that's where the coaching staff expects to go. They're the ones watching this team every single day. They're the ones evaluating this talent. They expect to win 10 games. They expect to win 11 games. So also remember that if we win those 10, 11 games, don't be super surprised like this came out of nowhere. And if we live below expectations and we only win 7 or 8, don't act like it's a successful season, because that's not what the coaching staff's expecting. They're not expecting to only win 7 or 8 games. They're expecting to take a huge jump. This is the jump. 10 wins is the jump. 11 wins is the jump. And it was once again said at Big Ten Media Days. So right now, again, Matt Rhule has a lot of quiet confidence about him. Usually he's not going to go out there and talk a lot of crap at Big Ten Media Days, because you don't want to put that spotlight on yourself. But you just know with his actions, with his body language, with the stuff that he said kind of in between his words, like, he's confident, right? The talent on this team is great. The coaching staff on this team is great. We're going to make a run at this thing. It's going to be a very exciting season, man. And you know that I got you guys covered every single day on the channel talking about it. So, all right, guys, let me know your thoughts down below about Big Ten Media Days, everything that you learned. Let me know in the comment section. Hey, if you made this far on the video, you know what to do. Hit that like button and subscribe as always, folks. Go Matt Rhule, and I'll see you in the next one.